All right, guys, welcome to the SLC Dunk Postgame Show. I'm your host, Haddison James, and the Jazz have lost to the Philadelphia 76ers, who were playing without Joel Embiid. This is the saddest SLC Dunk Postgame Show in a little while, maybe. The Jazz tonight maybe had the most historically bad shooting performance literally in the history of the franchise. They were actually pushing towards the worst in their team's history, shooting about 29% from the field for the entire game. There's not a lot to be said for this game. There were a few things that were of interest, but for the most part, the Jazz played pretty well on defense and did not play well on offense. And it makes you wonder if there are things that the Jazz can do on offense that might be better. But what we did tonight was as bad a performance on offense as you could do. And you might want to just scrap this game, although, it's going to start getting tough. Last game we play against Houston, we play a good offensive game, and James Harden went off, and we lost because of a historic night for James Harden. Tonight we play pretty good defense against the 76ers, and we found a way to shoot one of the worst nights in our team's history. I mean, do you throw that game out? After a while, it gets a little hard because it seems like you're finding reasons to lose games, which we seem to be doing the last 3 games. It's kind of rough. And I know Houston is the number 1 team in the Western Conference right now, and I know that the 76ers are a lot better. Ben Simmons is a lot of fun. He's a really good player. It's rough. It's the Jazz are at a crossroads right now. I mean, the Sixers rested Embiid, and they were pretty much in control of this game from start to finish. They were hitting their threes. They have really nice talent, actually. The Sixers have, honestly, and I've been a fan of the process that they've done because what it has done is given them what they have now. They are going to have a lot of success for the next 4 or 5 years at least because they've got Ben Simmons, they've got Joel Embiid. They'll get Markelle Fultz, who will eventually get healthy, you would think. I mean, they didn't have Markelle Fultz or Joel Embiid tonight, and they were the better team. I don't know what the Jazz need to do. I don't know if there's got to be some sort of change to our offense to simplify it. For example, when we had Derek Favors and Enes Kanter playing together, they had kind of a different type of offense. It was a little more complicated, which is kind of what it is now. It's kind of a complicated offense, it seems like, with a lot of movement and passing. We do that weave thing at the beginning of a lot of our possessions, which I don't understand necessarily what that does, but I'm sure it does something. Maybe get people touching the ball. It might very well be that 2 of our rotation player injuries are really hurting us, considering the fact that we lost 2 of our biggest offensive players, but we're missing Joe Johnson and we're missing Dante Exum. It's just a fact. Like, we were going to have an up-tempo, fast-pace offense this year based off of turnovers and movement, and Dante went down, and that changed a lot of things because, I mean, Ricky Rubio is not the greatest finisher at the rim. He is a great passer, and he plays great defense, and he creates the turnovers, but he needs players that can run the floor and finish with him. And we have not a ton of players that are, super athletic, finishing and transition type players that you can also play in the half court and that can score, So we've seen Joe Ingles be able to do that a little bit, and he's a great half-court player because he can hit that corner 3 and he does some nice things. But we don't have a ton of players when Dante is out, when Joe Johnson's out, that really push the floor. Honestly, this season, what was going to be so fun about this season was going to be watching Donovan and Dante just fly with that second unit. And Donovan's been fantastic this season, just really phenomenal. He's actually been a little better than I thought he'd be. But we missed Dante and we missed Joe Johnson. That's just a fact. Like, there were times in this game where if Joe Johnson was in the game, his 10 to 12 points, his 3-point shooting, his ability to just back someone down and get a bucket, that would have helped a lot. And it's hurting. And what we're at right now because of those things is a little bit of crossroads because it's really tough for this team to win. It's just really tough for us to get a win. If we play good defense and we shoot 29% from the field, it's hard to win. It's hard to ask your players to play that level of defense for that long without the ability to score. It's just very tough. So the Jazz showed a lot of fight tonight, which was really great and really impressive by the Jazz. But, man, it's hard to play when you can't score and when no one's hitting shots. Donovan couldn't hit a shot, like 3 for 17 or 18 or something like that. Even Joe Ingles was like 3 for 10 from the three, and Ricky Rubio hasn't been able to hit a shot for 3 games now. And Rodney Hood, I don't know what the deal is, but there have been times, and I love Rodney Hood, and I'm rooting for that guy because he's been one of us for the last 3 or 4 years, and such a good guy, and he does work hard, and he has worked hard in his game, but it feels like Rodney Hood is playing to not get hurt right now. I mean, there's like 2 or 3 times just in the last 2 games where he had that oop at the bucket that he decided not to try to finish, that he just caught it and kind of landed, and then it ended up in a nothing when it would have been better to just try to finish it, even if you miss, at least try. And then he had that one where he cut the ball into the basket and doesn't dunk it and goes and shoots a fadeaway 3-pointer and misses. That's not going to help us win games. That's going to hurt us because the best shot in the game is that at the rim shot, and if at worst you get free throws for that. So it's rough. Rodney's kind of playing not to get hurt right now, and I don't know if Rodney knows who he is, and I think maybe he's struggling with who he might be, which is probably CJ Miles, which in some circumstances is really good, but CJ Miles is not a player that can lead a team to a lot of wins, but he is a player that can contribute to a good team. Like right now with Indiana, he's been on Indiana the last 2 or 3 years and been a contributor on that team, and that might be just what Rodney Hood is. But it's rough right now, guys. It's rough. I'm struggling to find things to be excited about other than Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. We struggle to score. It's just a fact. And if Ricky Rubio has a terrible night shooting and with a lot of turnovers, we're going to not win the game. That's just kind of how it is. We really rely on Rubio to have a good game. We're going to be relying on Donovan Mitchell, who should probably be starting soon. And, Derek Favors is a player that doesn't quite fit on this team in some ways. He hit a corner 3 again tonight, which is really exciting. It shows that Derek Favors is working really hard to be good and help this team win, but Derek Favors might be an Al Horford stretch center that's playing next to Rudy Gobert, and that's tough. It's just a lot of parts on this team that are just tough to find the right mix of things, and so not a lot of great things to say. Ben Simmons is fantastic. He's a great passer. Interesting to watch the Sixers tonight. We didn't really get the full Sixers experience without Joel Embiid, who is afraid of Rudy Gobert, I guess. This is like the second time in a row he's ducked out. So that's one thing. We have a player on the Jazz who, Sixers players are scared of, I guess. Joel Embiid. I don't want to hear any more tweets from Joel Embiid, anything, because you ran away from Rudy Gobert. Come play Rudy Gobert. I know he destroyed you last time he played you, but come play Rudy Gobert and show off if you're that good. All right, we'll talk to you later, guys.